What's going on, people? Welcome to Palace News. I'm here with Uncle Patrick, T. How you guys doing? It's been a big day of Palace News. A lot going on. I'm going to introduce everyone first because I've got like a 11 bullet points of news that come out staggered today. But yeah, if you're watching, smash the like button. Yeah. So Pat, how you feeling, man?
I'm good. Busy day, but I'm good. I'm good. How about you guys? You good?
All good, man.
Doing
T,
good,
what about
doing
you?
good, man. Man, doing good, man. Good to be back on the show and things, and talking about Palace and stuff, man. So
So obviously, like being in London, I've been able to brag this FA Cup. Like I've been milking it hard. How like where you are? Do you feel like you can bask in the glory as much? Is
hundred
it falling
percent,
on? Oh, okay.
100%. Like it's funny, man. Like, and Patrick maybe can even attest to this too. If I wear Crystal Palace gear, I get love wherever I go. I get respect wherever I go. Like before, people might recognize that you're a Crystal Palace fan. They might even ask you why you're a Crystal Palace fan. But now people are like, you get a lot more respect, man, and people tell you good win and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I wear it with pride. So it's definitely a big deal.
Yeah. Similarly, I was in a pharmacy about 2 weeks ago, and I'm checking out my stuff that I bought, and the guy goes, "Congratulations!" And I said, "For what?" He goes, "Oh, Palace win the FA Cup." Oh, because I had one of my tops on. I said, "Oh, you like football? Because obviously it's not as big in here as it is in England." Oh yeah. I said, "Let me guess, Man United." He goes, "Yep." And then he goes, "Oh yeah, my mum got me tickets for the last game. I was at the game, the last game of the season. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh, do you like it?" He goes, "Yeah, first time over it ever. It was nice." So again, every once in a while, if I wear one of my tops out, people just come up to me and say, it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough where the pride is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Patrick are advocates for watching that final over and over again, and that goal over and over again, and the penalty save over and over again. T, how many times has your missus let you watch it on the big screen in the front room?
Bro, I watched Eze's goal at least 100 times. I've watched the final whistle at least 100 times. Like it's just one of those things. If I'm just hanging out, I got free time, like kids aren't actively watching TV or something like that. I just throw it up and just watch it, man. Like because it's one of those things that is gonna always give you joy, maybe even more at times. Like I don't know. It just gives you that feeling inside that wells up in your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things
Yeah,
you can relive over and over again.
I'll be real. I'll be scrolling, like dead scrolling on TikTok sometimes, and then I see it, and I can't not watch
Yep.
it and have it
Yep.
on repeat, and everything feels good for those couple minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I'm gonna go through all the bullet points of what happened today, and then we can kind of decide what's the most important to what's the least important. Everyone in the chat, if you've got a question, put Q and then your question, and then we'll answer it a bit later on because we might cover your question as we go along. But first of all, my number one bullet point, the thing that everybody's been waiting for. CAS confirmed that an in-person hearing for the case of Crystal Palace for UEFA, Nottingham Forest and Lyon is scheduled for the 8th of August, 2 days before the Community Shield, where Palace aim to get another major trophy. The hearing will be held behind closed doors in Switzerland. No decision will be issued on the 8th of August. It is expected that operative without grounds decision will be rendered on August the 11th. Should we quickly cover this and then go on to any other news, or is that no news? Do we know that already? Is that what do you guys think?
For me, we discussed yesterday on Palace News, me and D. Just get it done. I'm glad it's officially, we have a date where the hearing's going to take place and when we're going to find out. But it's a joke. They changed the date to March 1st, and it's still going to end up where basically the draw is Monday. We're going to be a week into the draw. We'll go over past, and we're not even found out if we're playing in the Europa League or Conference League. It's a farce. But at this point, like I don't care anymore. Just put me in the Conference League and let's just go on. But let's get it over with. I just can't take it. The story is so boring to me. I was trying to be over.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that we finally have concrete information on when this will be resolved completely, because we all know that the UEFA ruling was never going to be the final say unless it went in our favor. Even then, it might have been appealed by Lyon or by Forest, depending on what the ruling was. So it's great that we have an understanding of when the final decision will be said and done. The hard thing is the fact of the timing, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's the is that the Monday after the Community Shield?
The day after.
We've then played technically what is our first match of the season, and we're then a few days away from the start of the actual season. Not to mention, it is a situation where us as fans, we're going to be looking at the Europa League draw, and we're going to be looking at the Conference League draw just to see where we could end up. You know what I mean? So it's still a whole lot that's up in the air in a whole lot of ways. It also affects, and there have been multiple conversations about this, but it affects our transfer window pretty significantly as far as who we can target, the caliber of player we can target, and the amount of funds that we may have available in targeting those players. So you would have loved to see it get solved sooner, but at least I can say I'm happy that we know exactly when that time is going to come. And now that they can possibly start making some moves or some plans for concrete moves based on, hey, if this is the ruling, here's who we're looking at. Here's who we're talking to immediately. If this is the ruling, here's who we're looking at. So at least there's that.
Yeah, definitely with our targets, I can move on to Bobby Manzi's comments on Twitter today. I'll be real, there's not a lot of good journalists out there. We always go back and forth about the source, and these days you might post or send something to your friend, but the first question you're going to ask is, how reliable is this source? But I believe Bobby Manzi is a very good source for Palace. Not only I thought of it before, but seeing as Glasner came out and made comments, and all of a sudden we had solid bullet points from Bobby, who kind of came out to sounded like to calm the fan base a little bit. That's what it felt like. He said Palace are targeting a centre-back, a centre midfielder, and a forward option ahead of their maiden European campaign. The motion to the Conference League, along with the ongoing appeal, has complicated planning, both in terms of budget and the calibre of players that the club can attract. Despite the uncertainty, the club will look to plug gaps in the squad during the final month of the window, with clarity on their European future expected by the end of next week. So, guys, do we think that's a feeder to keep the fans happy, or do you think that's legitimate?
I think it's legit.
Do you take it as do you accept it as a legitimate excuse?
I mean, again, we mentioned yesterday during the show, I think there's a lot of things that caused us to have these issues. A lot of them were brought up today in the media. Obviously, the CAS decision, not having a director of football, etc. But no, I get it. I don't understand those particular needs, by the way, as far as players. I don't know why we need a central midfielder. That's the one that kind of surprised me. But the forward and the centre back makes sense. You know, I went back and forth yesterday about right wing back. To me, it's not a priority, but I get why he's been on that for a few years on getting someone to back up Munoz. So, but again, it makes sense. Like Bobby does make a lot of sense with his articles. I'm sure someone at Paddy's fed him that article today to kind of placate the fans, but it makes sense. The timing, again, I'm not surprised. The day after what happened with the whole Glasner comments, that we come out with something in to reply makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, timing definitely makes sense when it comes to that coming out along with what we heard from our manager the other day, which I think, honestly, I think it surprised a lot of people to hear him say that. Honestly, at least timing wise. But I completely understand his feeling. And it's not made any easier by what's going on with us waiting for a decision on our European futures either. But you got I respect Bobby Manzi. I think that he, like you said, he does some really good work with his journalistic ventures. So definitely pay attention to what he's saying. In kind of thinking about what Patrick said, and the fact that we don't, looking at a center back or center midfielder, why? It makes me wonder, if they're wanting to use Jefferson Lerma more as a center back more often, or B, and this is probably the thing I think is probably the more pertinent thing, is the recovery of Czech Decore.
Right.
And how long that's really going to take. Because I think a lot of people are surprised that he isn't in and around anything at this point, and we're not seeing him involved at all. Because if it was a matter of fitness, maybe he's getting in a few appearances on shorter amounts of time, or at the very least, we're seeing him make appearances with our U21s in their preseason, but we're not seeing him at all. We're not seeing him in preseason preparation videos or anything, which leads you to wonder what may be going on with that. I was thinking about what Glasner said about only having 17 outfield players. And I was like, wow, I was actually kind of surprised by how low that number was. But then you think about the fact that Decore is missing, Riyadh is missing, Kapora has his issue with the disc, and França now. That's 4 solidified first team players that would take us to 21 that will be available. But it's a very big difference compared to where we could be with more reinforcements for sure.
Yeah. I definitely think the 17 didn't include Raksaki, Ahmed, Edward either.
Right.
I wondered that as well. I almost literally wanted to go to the squad and start counting things up.
He basically said, "I've got 17 players that I can rely on, that'll fit." That
17 that he knows is going to be around by the end of the window.
I have a question, real quick. In your mind, if you had the choice, if it is Decore being not fit, and you know what, makes a great point. Probably Rich for me, like football or whoever it was from Eagle Eye Football. Thanks for that point. And he brought it up. But why loan out Oza then? Why not just keep Oza? Instead of spending money on the camp, on the midfielder, just keep Oza.
Exactly.
Keep Oza to January, and hopefully if he comes back and then loan him out in January. I don't understand why you loan him out then. If you feel and then you're going to spend money on the central midfielder. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'd rather spend the money, as Dean and I went back yesterday, on a 10, a centre back, and last case, a right wing back. Why spend on the centre? But again, if that's what Glasgow wants to do, I get it. But I just really feel like he kind of had a kid that he could have maybe plugged that in for 6 months.
My only theory is, I always said that you can't really have players who can only play one position. And if you have Lerma who can cover at centre back, Hughes is probably on his last year. I think we gave him 2 years, so I think he'll probably be sold. Yeah. He'll probably be sold next season, because I don't think he can do another year after this one. Then if you sign a centre midfielder now, it allows Czech to recover. It allows Kamada to be a starting centre mid, but also can be a backup 10. Allows Lerma to be a cover at centre back, and it gives you a bit more depth. That's my theory.
When I'm thinking about it, the only thing I can think of is the reason that they wanted Ozo to go out on that loan is because they want him to play every single day, because they understand that. I think that they understand that he's really going to be the future in the center of the pitch for us. Maybe after this year, like he's probably going to be playing a really big part for us for the reason that you just mentioned, Louis, about somebody like Hughes not coming back. And for that reason, I think I could see us adding a central midfielder, but I think it will be on the cheap, similar to what we saw with Sosa or Benitez. Okay. So it could be it's probably going to be a player that has, number one, good experience with either Premier League football, English football, or European football, but somebody who probably is going to be a cost-efficient move. a player that I bring up just because I know we've been linked with him, and I think would actually be really good business is somebody like Jens Kajust from Ipswich.
Yeah,
He was
good
with
loan. That'll be a
Ipswich,
good
but
loan.
he's with Ipswich, but that's not his home team. But they were saying that he could be had for less than 10 million pounds. So that's a guy who is in his mid-20s, has international football experience, and he's played in the Premier League. So he brings a lot to the table for a lower cost, and allows us to, like you said, Lou, have Decore recover. And then it also gives Ozo the chance to get the full year in the championship, get all that playing experience. And then once somebody like Hughes moves on after this year, possibly, you have Ozo coming back, you have Kajust in the fold, and then you have Decore back possibly. So, I can see that happening, but I hope that we don't spend it.
He did say the three were if Gay and Eze were to stay, it would then be an extra one or two that would come in if they left, which exactly what we've discussed on here before, what Carl said, also 3-4 out, 4-5 in. It makes sense. I really trust the club to pick the right players. It's just how quickly they get done. I'm not really worried. I think whoever we're linked with or we bring in will probably most likely be the right profile. I don't think we don't hit every time, but I think most of the time we do get it right, and I trust the club to do that. Yeah. I guess with our fan base, with any fan base, you got people who are here still happy about the FA Cup. They're willing to let it ride out, and you got people who are here who are like, this like deja vu. It's the same thing happening over again. It's excuses. So I get it. It's I try to be in the middle and just hope for the best, really. Regarding outgoings, I don't really want to spend too much on this because every time I open my phone, I have to read about Eze and I have to hear about Arsenal fans doing nonsense, and it's just very frustrating. But Palace's stance on Eze has not changed. To activate his time-sensitive release clause, clubs are required to pay a significant chunk of the 67.5 million fee up front. Saw reports it's half of the 60. Obviously, the 7.5 is the add-ons. Palace want £30 million wired immediately if Eze is to leave. Also, reports from a not great source that Palace have rejected a £30 million bid from Atalanta for Jean-Philippe Mateta. Once again, no one works harder than Jean-Philippe Mateta's agents, because one minute he's going to Liverpool, the next minute he's going to Atlanta. I think he's been offered to every single European club in the world. I think Man United even considered him. So, Mateta, if your agent's watching this, just put your phone down. Your iPhone might be overheating. You're doing too much right now. So yeah, guys, what do you think about that? It's the same rinse and repeat clickbait articles. But yeah, should we move on, or do you have anything to say on these transfers?
Real quick on Mateta, I think that I get what you're saying. I do agree, but he's doing that, Dejan, because he wants a new contract.
Yeah, we know that. Well, yeah.
Right. We should give him a contract. We need to give him a contract because
he's in a terrible. Yeah, he's in a terrible negotiating position. He's 27 with 2 years left on his deal. Yep. He wants 4 years on 120 grand, and we clearly know when you put a player on 120 grand a week, then if he's on the last 2 years of his deal at 30 years old, who's going to buy Mateta on 120 grand a week? Mateta's got 1 or 2 peak years left, so it's like, and Mateta can't. If his contract runs down, he'll be 30 and out of his peak and probably won't get a massive contract at the end of that. So it's an unstoppable force meets a movable object right now, and something's got to give. Do you just reward loyalty and try and be a good club, or do you look for the sustainability? It's the balance, and that's
I can see a bumper. I could see a slight bumper deal.
I always said make it more incentivized. Make triggers. If you hit certain targets, you get what you get. Do you know what I mean? If you hit 10 league goals in the Premier League, you get an extra couple of million in your bank account.
Right.
Premier League goals are worth gold. So if you can hit 10, then this is hypothetical. I'm not a director of football or anything, but if you can hit 10 Premier League goals, then you get 250 grand for every goal after that. it just gives incentives. And maybe I think Liverpool and Chelsea work a lot on incentives in their contracts. I think that's why Chelsea and Liverpool are so good at selling, because the players are not on big base contracts.
Juventus is really good with that too. Juventus is amazing with that.
But so I don't know.
And the thing is, Atalanta won't be able to pay him more than us. So it's not going to be about the money. It's about him wanting to play Champions League football over us. That's really a new challenge for him. Yeah. So
and that's why they're trying to.
Go on.
I would say that's also why we see in these low ball offers is because they can't afford to give the big time payment to us for him and then be able to pay him also. Like there's give and take in it.
Yeah, definitely. In other news, injury news, Matthias Franca is expected to be sidelined for 3 weeks due to injury, and Caleb Kafora, who is viewed as Daniel Muno's deputy, is struggling with a disc issue. So Franca, well, it's just like, it's bad luck. I don't believe he's trying to get injured, because towards the end of last season, I know he was on the bench for every game. He was available, wasn't he? There was no injuries going on there. So again, it's like you come back. What have you done off season? Have you not been sharp enough? So then now you come back. Is it just bad luck? We'll never really know. But it's definitely, I said to Pat earlier, the best ability is availability. And if you're not willing to be available, especially as a backup player or a squad player, when are you going to take your chance? So I'm not going to bash the kid though. I refuse to pile on to Franca. If I had my own choice, I would sell him. But I don't know. At
least it's only a few weeks compared to the long term stuff, which we've seen from him a little bit. It's unfortunate for sure, but I think this is another big reason why we're hearing the rumors about us bringing in another player capable of playing in that 10 role, so that we have more depth and more reinforcements for this case actually itself. So
we bought him for 20 million euros on a 5-year deal. You can't sell him and get your money back. So I can't sell him right now.
As what's his Tim broke down about the depreciation of contracts. If he signs for 20 million on a 5-year every year, that's split into 5. So what is he? So now he's been there 3 years.
Third year,
you
15.
Don't. So
15 to break even.
No, 5 million to break even, because it depreciates 5 million each year. So if he was here for 5 years, so let's say it's 20 million euros and he's on a 5-year contract, it's 20 divided by 5 every year.
Like 4. Right.
So, but also clubs know that themselves, so they'll probably lowball anyway.
And the only way a player he has to outperform. He has to perform in order to beat the depreciation, so to speak.
Yeah, but that's why the Edouard transfer, they're probably not too fast, because that loan fee alone probably contributed to.
Yeah, Edouard's different. I'm not worried about him because we made the money up there. Leicester got done for that. But the issue I have with France, he brought him in post Wilf, gave him the 11 shirt, 19 years old. You know what I mean? We did a lot. This would be a massive blow to us to have to give up on him so quickly. But I get it. The injuries are a major problem. But to give up on a kid in his 3rd season and he hasn't produced at all because he hasn't played because he's been injured, that would be that's a bad look for us. I mean, to go to Brazil and bring back the one player that can't, not one player that can't, because Brazil has so many players, a lot of them don't perform. But it's a big blow for us. If we do, we're going to get lucky because we won the FA Cup. But looking and stayed in the Premier League, but looking back on it, that's not a good look for us to buy that, spend up money on a kid and have him basically be a bust, because he's been a bust. Let's just admit it, he has been.
Yeah. Really. Moving on to Kapora. Like his age mate, so we've got Ozo going on loan. We done the watch along, and I was very, very impressed with Mofi. Is it Mofi Jamide? Is that how you pronounce it? Jamide? Yep. I was very, very impressed. I've not been as impressed as a youngster since Ozo's performance at City away. I know it's a pre-season, but if I'm talking physically, just his stature, he doesn't look like he looks like he belongs there. I want to know your thoughts. Do you get that same vibe of Kapora? Or have you not seen enough? And if you haven't seen enough, does that mean he's good? He's sufficient to be backup right wing back to a team in Europe and top half chasing Premier League?
Yeah, I would say I probably haven't seen enough from Kapora, just because of the fact that I mean, I've watched him a lot in the academy, but actually for us, haven't seen enough of him. However, that's just me. That's just us watching major matches. This isn't us being able to see him every day in training either, the way that Glasner has. I mean, he's gotten rid of a lot of guys. He's isolated guys, not giving opportunities to other guys. But this kid has been there. He's made match day squads. He's gone on trips, played in preseason. He has been there. You know what I mean? So it leads me to think that our staff sees something in him, even though he's very small in stature. I think that's the thing we talk about, like talk about Mofi. Like Mofi looks like he's supposed to be there because he has the stature of a man playing men's football. The thing that kind of is a little bit of iffy on Kapoor's side is that he's so small. And being that he's going to have to perform at a higher level because of his stature in a lot of ways. So I just think I haven't seen enough from him yet.
What I'll add is, again, I've watched him a lot in the 21s, like what I've seen. He played this summer for the England under 19s and Euros. He's just turned 19 in July. If the manager sees something in him, I'm absolutely fine with him staying, because we sent Danny Ime out, a similar prototype to him, out on loan. The player that backs up Munoz is not going to play. The only way he'll play is if there's an injury or like last year's suspension. So for me, if he can get him in there, I mentioned the D yesterday, 20 games at most. The way we kind of use the Venny, a spot start here, spot start there, end of a match every once in a while to end the match, not make any mistakes. I'm fine with that. The kid may not love that, but if he is the future, and I'm guessing from saying that Munoz leaves next season because he's going to want to probably get a move somewhere, because he's kind of talked about that a little bit this year, about him going somewhere next season. I'd love for Kapoor to take him over. And again, what I will say again is that I need to see a pathway for some of my young players, and it's not a perfect pathway, but it's a decent enough one where you saw Devaney last year. You see maybe Kapora and Jeme this year. Then you're looking at the kids in the 80s now saying, yeah, you know, I have a chance to play for Palace, as opposed to let me go to Chelsea like Derry did. You know what I mean? So I like it. Again, I don't think that player has to play a lot, so why spend money on him? If it was a free, like Sosa or like Sosa money, I would say, yeah, bring someone in. But right now, even I guess today we would link with the kid from he's played for Leeds.
From Cody Drama.
Oh,
yeah,
Cody Drama.
Yep. Who could play both sides, and that would be a decent. But I'm just saying, if we don't do something like that, for me, Kapora is fine as a backup right wing back. For me, again, as long as he's healthy. Obviously.
I agree. Yeah, and that's even with the amount of matches that we're going to have this coming season.
Yep, exactly.
The elevated amount of matches. I still expect somebody like Munoz to want to play damn near every game.
50 games, exactly. 100%.
Me and Pat agree on a lot of things. I generally think it would be a massive risk for Kapora to be the backup right wing back. I don't think you can have 2 games at professional level with an serious injury on your record, even be considered as a backup right wing back. But if Glasner, that's one thing. Yeah, I just can't see it. I think we need a Sosa type signing to be back up to Munoz, or a hybrid right centre back who can play right wing back as well. Like who was the guy that went to Ipswich from? Not him, but like that type of player. Who was the guy that went from West Ham to Ipswich? Not him specifically, but someone.
Yeah, that profile.
A player who can do.
They're very rare, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, they're rare.
Yeah. With I thought Hindalo Mustafa. It's a shame that he got injured in preseason.
Yeah, man.
I think I think Hindalo Mustafa was light years ahead of Franco at the moment to be in terms of Prem ready.
Yeah,
man, that dude is good.
Yeah.
I think there was links to Leyton Orient, so I wouldn't mind. Richie Welling's a good manager. Adaramola's there already. He could also get a championship loan, but will he play as much in the championship? I don't know. I feel like maybe a promotion chasing League One team is probably around the same as a mid-table lower championship who might not play as, because if you go to like a lower league, like Ozo's going to Derby, I think Eustace he's not that rigid. I think he plays some decent football, but you don't want to send a player on loan to a team that doesn't play a certain way.
Yeah.
But a couple of the youngsters are struggling with injuries. Jameed Mofi's had his injury worries as well, so hopefully he can stay fit, because I definitely think he would get a regular spot on the bench.
And he's a left-footed center back.
Yeah, and just the way he plays, he looks calm and composed. And we go back to, I know we spoke about the high performance podcast where Glasner spoke about when he had the youngster that played left back, and he asked him, "How do you think you done?" And he said, "I didn't make any mistakes." And then you listen to Mofi's interview after, and his first thing he says, when an interviewer asks him, "What has Glasner asked from you?" And he says, "To express myself, to show what I can do." Exactly. It's not about hiding. Exactly. So if you got that ball, you play those balls into the front, man. You make those risks. You engage when you think is right. You play your own game. You need to show that you belong with your own game, not like a held back version of you. And I saw some great signs. So that I said he reminds me a bit maybe of a Kwanzaa type player, left footed centre back, a bit like Tyrone Mings, but not as good in the air. That profile of player. But yeah, moving on to another part of this is from Sammy Mockbell, who said that Palace have been referred to for Matt Hobbs, the former Wolves director of football. And I've done a little research on who was signed under his reign. Some names: João Gomez from Flamengo.
All right, before you go ahead, I bet all of them have Portuguese or Brazilian background.
I was about to say it had to be a ton of Portuguese guys.
There's a few English. So we got João Gomez from Flamengo. I'll name one. You tell me hit or miss. Yeah, you say hit or miss. Yeah, João Gomez.
Hit. I like him.
Hit. I'll say hit.
Pablo Sarabia.
I like him. Hit.
Hit.
Matheus Cunha.
Oh,
massive
smash.
Home run, they say. Yeah, home run.
Mario Lemina.
Hit. Captain.
Hit. He's a captain for them, yeah.
Craig Dawson. He was very good for them.
He was good for them. He was good for them, but like he did what they brought him in to do. Yeah.
Tommy Doyle from Manchester City.
From City. Actually, might be a miss for me. He didn't play.
Miss. I go miss.
Yeah.
Rodrigo Gomez. They got a lot of regens. I can't really remember him.
I like both of him and João. Yeah, I like him.
He was. That's okay. Was that? Wait a minute. Rodrigo Gomez, was he the midfielder?
Yeah, from Braga, right midfield.
Yes.
Pedro Lima, right back.
I like him. I'd love to have him.
I like him. I just don't think he's like gotten to the hit point yet. Just because
they've got Semedo. They've had Semedo though. They've had Semedo.
Exactly, Semedo, who's now gone. Yeah.
Semedo, yeah, but he was there for what, 5 years?
Yeah. Next one, Sam Johnston.
That was actually a miss because
that's a miss. It's a miss. Yeah. Miss.
Good hit for us.
Yeah, hit for us. Miss for them. Sorry.
Andre from Fluminense.
I like him.
I like him. I like him.
And I think the two next are, the next one is probably his best one, Emmanuel Agbadu.
Oh, just
came in as strong.
He was a unit.
Yeah. That's going to end up being got him in the January window. Going to be a very big.
And last,
he'll get them 40 million at some point, 50 million at some point.
Jürgen Strand Larsen.
Oh, yeah, I mean, come on.
Hit.
Yeah. From where did he come from? I mean,
he came from Celta Vigo.
Celta Vigo.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he says nothing inspiring so far. I think that was incorrect. I think there was some great players on there. I just
No,
think
he was
Wolves
saying
is
nothing. That I think that one was from that
oh.
comment was from what we were talking about
Oh, sorry.
about
What
our
about this
players,
one
our
then?
young
Yeah.
guys. Andrew, clearly not a Wolves fan. I think that some of those fans are pretty.
I think Wolves as the institution is the thing that is struggling.
Well,
at the
yeah,
moment.
and the guys that are running the guys that are running those teams were some of the issues too.
Yeah, but yeah, so what do we think
Decent.
about Matt Hobbs? At this point, I'm just like get someone sufficient in. You need a team of people anyway. So we've got a really good backup. Who I think he's the guy that they said was second to Dougie. He's meant to be really, really good. The head of recruitment. It's maybe just an extra bit of experience.
Right.
What do
I
you
think
guys
the other thing that I can respect about that CV of players is the fact that he never spent crazy amounts of money in getting those players that have pretty decent talent. And I think that's going to be important to obviously what we do with our stuff. You know what I mean? So bringing somebody in who's getting pretty high caliber guys for affordable prices and guys that aren't necessarily always going to be homegrown English players, having a network, having guys in different places where you can do some good scouting also matters as well.
Not to be funny though, real quick, back to the Wolves point. Are any of those clients João Mendes clients? Honestly, the guys that came from like Portugal or Brazil.
Yeah,
probably. If they are, then
they probably are. Yeah,
gotta take a little bit away from him on Mendes on Harvard. But I think some of those.
But maybe he's got maybe he brings the Mendes link to us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care how much agent fee we pay out. You're right. I mean, the player's good, bring him in. But no, I mean, the Wolves model of the way they buy players and then they sell them, Cunha, Jota, etc. I mean. The kid that went to Wolves. I mean, they get these players that you don't even know in 2 years, and then they sell them 8 Nori. Obviously, I mean, the model is very similar to what would like to be. So yeah, I got no problem with that.
Okay, let's go through some questions. Going through everything. First one, it's from Eagle Eyed. Big up Eagle Eyed Football, doing some great content as well. Due to the fact that it's going to the 11th of August, do you think we have legitimate grounds to get the decision overturned?
I guess meaning to say that being that the decision is going to come later, does that give us the feeling that they're taking more time to review it and that gives us a chance to have it overturned? I'm guessing.
I just think all speculation should be taken out, and just there's no point in saying this day, that day, because if you go in a normal court of law, just because of the date they put the court, it doesn't change what the verdict will be. That's my opinion. Whatever it is, whether it's tomorrow or next Monday.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is that it feels, at least you can feel like they're doing their due diligence with looking into this. Because if they just turned around and gave us a ruling in a couple days after the official notice, obviously things will probably be overwhelmingly, obvious to them that they want to go one way or another. So at least we can feel like they're covering all the bases and making sure that they're being thorough in their process.
Yeah.
This is next Friday, right? The decision?
Next
is it next Friday?
Next
Monday already. August is Friday.
So August 11th Friday. Excuse me, August 11th Friday.
Crazy, man. August already. Wow. I mean,
it's crazy in the fact.
Listen, man. Let's just get the decision in. Let's just get it done. I'm just tired. I'm so tired of this situation.
I don't want this to take. Palace have never been in a charity shield ever. Like, it might be a small thing to other clubs, but it's the FA Cup winners against the Premier League winners, and if you look,
that's more silver. That's more silverware. Like, what are you talking about?
If you look back at previous games of Community Shields, like, their big teams have always taken this game seriously. It's the curtain opener, and I think as Palace fans, it's another trip to Wembley. So don't let. I know I've been emotional by it. I've been pissed off. I feel hard done by it, but I'm going to enjoy that day because it might not ever happen again. Ever.
As you should, my brother, because especially not only enjoying that day, but what could come from it, man. That Community Shield will be on display right next to the FA Cup if we win it.
Those stadium tours are about to go through the roof again.
Exactly, and that stuff is forever, man. That stuff is for you're beating a Premier League champion to get that. We beat a perennial Premier League champion to get the FA Cup. Like,
and if I'm being honest, I feel like Liverpool, they bought a lot of signings and there'll be a lot of pressure on them to win that comfortably. There'll be a lot of pressure on them. There'll be no pressure on us. And due to the signings or lack of signings, it will probably be the exact same lineup that started in the FA Cup final. So, do you know what I mean? I give us a chance.
That gives us continuity.
Has our transfer business slowed down due to a Europa situation, or do you think it's due to not having a technical director of football like Dougie? I feel like we kind of covered that throughout the whole show. Does anyone want to give that a...
I think a bit of both for sure, Daniel. I think
Yeah.
a bit of both for sure.
Yeah.
What's happening with offers? What's happening with offers? Our manager and players with renewal contracts. I'll be honest. We might do a show, but none of us really know what's going on. We know as much as you guys, man.
Yeah, we
shall
can talk about it. We can
Yeah,
talk
you can talk about. I have no clue, man. I have no clue what's going on. I have no clue. We know that our top striker's been trying to get a new contract. We know as Gahey isn't going to sign a new contract. We know Glasner probably won't sign a new contract unless he's been given what the tools he needs to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
I'm going to speculate, obviously, because there's nothing else to do. I think once the transfer window closes and we either keep Gahey, that's when Glasgow will make a decision. If he sees we're not going in the right direction, you know he's going to just ride the contract out and leave end of the year. But if we do stuff that he likes, he'll sign a contract in September, I think. That's what I believe. And then he'll stay. So we'll know about Glasgow by September.
Yeah, the smartest thing he can do.
Did you see Simon Jordan on talk?
I did, and it was a stupid comment. He says last year he's not going to walk now. What's the point? Just ride out the 1 year of the contract and he'd be gone. He could, if it means walk at the end of the contract, then he has the option to do that. Walk in the middle of the contract, he's not going to leave before the end of the season. What would be the point of that?
Yeah. So guys, what do you? I think it's 290 minutes on Friday against Augsburg. Do we think it's the last game before the Charity Shield? Does the starting team in Charity does he play the same starting 11? Do you think he plays whoever is in his mind to start against Liverpool start on Friday, and then you have the second string team play the second game?
I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because if he doesn't do that, the thing that we can say is that the guys that are going to be playing in that match are going to get 90 minutes. So I think for him, that's probably the most important thing. Whether you mix the teams up or not, I think the most important thing is that those guys get 90 minutes of play. I mean, they played together. They know those guys, like we're talking about, that's the same team that started in the FA Cup final. So they have a lot of familiarity with sharing the pitch and playing with one another. So if he doesn't decide to start them, at least you know that the guys that are going to be in that group are going to be getting the 90 minutes, which is probably the most important thing.
I don't see a point in mixing the teams up again. I would like to see the last game before the Charity Shield be somewhat of the starting 11. Maybe you don't do it just in case to give something away. You might put one or two out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I personally would prefer that. It gives enough time to recover. Gives enough time. Wolfsburg, I don't know that they're not as big as Mainz, because Mainz are in the Europa League this year. But yeah, has anyone heard of any replacements for Eze if he's leaving other than El Khanis and Bilal? I don't think there's been any concrete rumors or anything.
Ghassan was the other one, right?
Ghassan. I feel like it's been one of those windows where if it ain't a David Ornstein tweet, then it doesn't really. I don't really get the dopamine hit unless you see your name with Ornstein, because Romano is going to tweet 18 different times about the same thing. At least Ornstein, you get this a bit clearer and more concise. So I'd probably wait for an Ornstein tweet or something like that. But
what about Nixon? You don't rate Nixon anymore?
I do rate Nixon, but yeah, he hasn't really come out with anything about us with any incomings. Obviously, Raksaki to Rangers. I'm guessing Rangers are waiting to see if they get past Panathinaikos, because they'll get the injection of
additional money.
But you know what? Also remember, I don't know if you know, they also just signed Mikey Moore from Spurs on the loan.
Loan with an option.
Right. And he's near left-footed, right-sided player, just like Rex.
He's a left.
Sure,
No,
right?
he's a right-footed left-hand side.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought Mikey Moore was left-footed. Okay. So then there'll be my option to get him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
But yeah, anything else you guys want to cover? Do we feel like we've covered everything?
Oh.
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hope for some more positive news tomorrow. It felt like a bit of staggered bad news, especially after that. Those Glasner quotes were, I'll be honest, it rattled me to the core, and I don't really get rattled by this.
Real quick, Rangers won 1-1. They're through to the next round. Panathinaikos. They won on 3-1 aggregate. So they're through.
Oh, they drew. Did they play tonight?
Did they?
They played just now. It was early too. Well,
so they're through. Have they got another round to go through?
That's a good. I think this is. I'm not even sure what this is the qualification. I think this is the. I think they play. They say they're playing Servette next. Maybe there might be one more knockout round before they qualify for the league stage. But they qualify from this stage anyway, so that's good for Mikey Moore.
Did they put in an offer and we rejected it?
It was like money. It was 10 million including add-ons.
It was a loan, and it was a loan. It was a loan move, right?
Yeah. That's probably what they're doing. They're trying to, because obviously a lot depends on what
they're
how much money they make in the season.
The financial responsibility.
Because they just got taken over, didn't they? Was it by the 49ers or something like that? The people that own the 49ers.
The Rangers?
Yeah.
Them and Leeds, they got taken by the same.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. I don't know how many likes we got. I'm not like D. I was too involved in the Palace news. But yeah, if you're watching this if you're not watching it live, put a comment down. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Up the Palace.
Up the Palace.